When we talk about relationship, a lot of things come to mind. There's so many factors that's linked to relationship. We talk about communication, we talk about respect, financial stability, and all these things are key factors when we talk about relationship. But today on Tea or Coffee, we will be talking about communication in relationship. That's relationship and communication. And is it important to communicate in relationship? Why is it so important to communicate in relationship? What level of communication should one keep up with when in a relationship? All these things will be discussed today on Tea or Coffee. My name is Mudupe Jacobs. Good morning, GT. God's time, David. Today we're talking about relationship and communication, and we are going to be discussing on how important communication is in relationships, but then we will be going on a quick break, so please do stay glued because we'll be right back.
The art of communication is the language of leadership. As of course, we all know that man cannot not communicate. If you cannot communicate, of course, there's no essence for living. A lot of factors are, of course, comprised in the aspect of communication. We're going to be talking about what communication is. Is communication important in relationships? Is communication the factor in which people have successful relationships? All that and so much more we'll be talking about this morning on Tea or Coffee. My name is God's Time, David. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Looking all pinky.
Yeah, you too.
It's
pinky
still
bluish.
It's still pinked over, so
yes.
don't blame me.
Yes, and I'm following suit.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm really excited about today's topic. Relationship. Trust me, anything relationship, count me in.
So I should call you lover girl, right?
I love love.
You love love,
Yeah.
and we all do. We all do.
Okay, so we're focusing on communication, relationship and communication.
Communication, yeah.
And, as you have said, why is it important to communicate in relationship? Why, is it that these days we are hammering on the fact that we have to communicate in relationship? It makes things easier. Why?
Firstly, there's this slogan. Those who studied mass communication or communication arts would understand that it goes, man cannot not communicate. Yeah, so I think basically communication is life, because if you don't communicate with someone, you find it difficult to understand the person. It goes beyond relationship. Of course, we're going to be talking about work communication as well.
Yes.
It goes beyond relationship. And I think basically communication is important because it just makes the world go round.
Yes, it cuts across different types of relationship. We have the work relationship, we have love relationship, we have relationship when it comes to marriage, courtship, and even friendship relationship, ships.
And, and communication also cuts, it reduces the rate at which people assume stuff.
Yes.
Because when you assume stuff, that's the beginning of the end of your relationship, when you assume stuff. And I also think when you talk about communication, you also have to think about the 5 love languages.
Yes, that's...
Because you need to understand the 5 love languages to be able to communicate.
Yes.
Because there are tendencies that you might be talking about something else, or you might be worried about something. For instance, you have a friend or you're in a relationship and you expect your partner to do stuff for you. Okay. It might not be the person's way of doing stuff.
Yes.
So first of all, you have to understand the person's love language.
Ask questions, communicate.
Ask questions. If you're not in a position where you would ask questions, you just observe. I don't want to ask you, but I'm going to ask you.
Sometimes, but sometimes when you assume, or is it assume you said now?
Yeah, assume.
When you assume, you might be wrong. When you observe, when you observe, you might be wrong. So I still feel that when it's about communication, it comes with asking questions, things that you're not sure of. Ask questions, ask your partner questions, ask your friends questions, so you don't misunderstand or misread a particular situation. Now, let me go to when we talk about work relationship, friendships, because I feel that when it comes to work relationships and friendships, they go hand in hand, because while at work, you make friends and the likes. So I feel communication is important when it comes to work relationship and friendship, because sometimes some situations may present themselves and you are not quite sure what that person was thinking when that particular thing happened, or what the person's intention was. And if you do not ask questions or communicate with that person, you're just left in the dark and you're assuming that, okay, this is the situation, this person intentionally wants to hurt you and the like. But when you ask questions and sit the person down to talk, to communicate, then you get to find out what really was the person's intention. And sometimes you'll be surprised, because you think whatever you were thinking was totally different from what the person had in mind. So I feel when it comes to friendships and work relationships, communication is key, as in very, very key.
I also would say that mood. Because you want to talk about something, you can't just walk up to the person anytime. You have to know when the person is available and willing to talk.
True.
You can't you can't just go, okay, hey, honey, I'd like to talk to you about something. Can we talk now? Most persons will like, no, I'm not in the mood to talk. Or they're probably going through something on their phones or fiddling with their phones or something. So I think you have to understand when the person is in the mood to talk, not just going whenever you want. As you said, communication is key. We cannot it cannot be overemphasized. If you think that something is not right, I used to think that walking up to people, talking to people, I just feel that you're grown up now, you should know what to do. So most times I just felt there's no point really talking about these things. I just feel the person will come around. But recently I've come to understand that you need to walk up to these people, because most times you just misunderstand them.
Yes. And now let me divert a little. Now let's go to love relationships, dating, courting. Is communication really enough? Is it actually only the key thing? You communicate and then what?
Okay. Now, when we talk about communication, I would use the word connection.
Okay.
Because no matter how you communicate, if the connection is not there, forget it.
But is it not through communication that you tend to connect with the person? Sometimes it happens that way. You find out that there's a particular person that you never imagined you ever want to talk to. And then something joins you together, probably a project that you guys are working on. And then you start talking. And all of a sudden, there's this connection.
There's chemistry.
There's this chemistry. There's this, there is this similarity. Oh, I like this type of music. Oh, I love this type of music. I think guys are connecting like, wow. You understand?
Yeah.
So I feel, when you communicate, sometimes it tends to bring that connection between you and a particular person.
Okay. Now, I want to come from the aspect of friendship.
Okay.
When you become friends with someone, because most people there are people that do not like to probably chat or do video calls.
Yeah.
They prefer to just call you up once in a while, right? So, and if you're in a relationship with someone who loves to do the lovey-dovey stuff, video chats, chatting you up, sending you SMS, they might struggle in that relationship. So I think the best thing to do is just let the person know, like, okay,
this is what you
like. This is what I like. It's better to chat me up. It's better to call me up. Or instead of just assuming that I know. Something happened some time ago.
Okay.
And someone like, you don't have home training. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm busy. Like, I can't call you almost every time. I can't call you every day. The person was like, no matter how busy you are, no matter how busy you get, you should find out time, no matter how little to communicate with someone. You can't be that busy. Is it your father's company? Or even if it's where, you should find out, you should find time to communicate with people regardless. And then
Regardless.
somebody said something. If you're not calling me, you're calling somebody else.
Exactly.
Because
I do not believe when, you're in a relationship and the guy is saying, I'm not the calling type.
It's a
You have
lie.
to be the calling type if you want to date
because
that
if you're not
lady.
calling me, you're definitely calling somebody
someone
else. Okay, we'll be taking a short break right now. We'll be having guests in the house, professionals. In marriage, I call them professionals because marriage is an institution. You never get to
Yes,
graduate.
I
So
agree.
they are professionals. We'll be having them on the show. Don't go away because we have so much in stock for you. We'll be right back.
When you think about it, there's a lot to celebrate in our lives. From the smallest milestones to our biggest moments, we'll pamper you at High Impact Planet. Whatever the occasion, let's celebrate you at High Impact Planet, where fun just got real.
So it promises to be an exciting show today. I'm sure you do not want to go anywhere. This is Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television, and we're talking about relationships and communication. Okay, so we have two interesting and amazing guests on the show today. Firstly, we have Bimpe Onchekwa. She's a life coach. She's a professional teacher. She has a ministry that handles relationship, marital, and parental issues, which is Abundant Life Fellowship, and she has a finishing school, which is Basic Finishing School. And also, we have Mr. Yinka Akombi. He's a filmmaker, and amazingly, he has 20 years experience in marriage. 20 years. You're welcome
No
to
joke.
the show.
Welcome.
You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about communication and relationship. Firstly, you have been married for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you have been in a relationship, you've
Managing
been,
relationships.
you've
I
managed
have been in
relationship.
it too. My kids are quite grown. So
Wow.
there's that experience, on the field.
Okay, on the field experience.
And I put people through too.
Okay. So I would come because you're a man, so let me come to you first.
Okay.
Before we delve into communication proper, what has marriage, how has it been for you as a filmmaker? How has it been for you the past 20 years?
Well, I'll say I may not have done as much as I've been able to do if I were not married.
Oh.
Because there's
Wow.
always somewhere to fall back on when all the razzmatazz and all the make-believe worlds are gone. And I'm back in my area
Reality.
where I'm king, where I am just one of them. It humanizes you. When you have a home to go back to, it humanizes you. And it helps you to deal with the pressures of the work. So for me, if I had probably not been married, I may not have been who I am today.
Wow. Would you say it's
Wow.
communication that kept you? this far?
Well, everything about life is communication. There's no, even if I don't say anything, I'm communicating. If I stand in front
Even
of
silence,
you
communication.
and I'm not saying anything, if I sit here and you ask me a question, I don't talk. You probably, I'm even doing, that is even more deafening than saying anything. Because you'll be wondering, a lot will be going through your mind, what is he thinking about? You know, it's just that it is not defined. But I'll say that making efforts at making sure the other person, because when we say communication, what are we talking about? Are we saying, are we trying to, is it just about words?
Verbal.
Asking questions,
You know?
talking,
So
sitting
it's
down,
about,
having
there are
a
so
chat.
many things. It's about wanting to get something out of somebody and making sure the other person reads you well enough.
Yes.
So I think it's both ways. It's a two-way thing or five-way thing, depending on how many people.
On the parties
Yes.
involved.
So,
Okay, but what's your take on that?
Yes, he's correct.
Okay.
For me, even just as he said, gestures convey more words, you know, convey more in communication than even the verbal aspect. Because what makes you different from the outsider with a particular person is the fact that you're able to read the person, even when he's not using verbal, you know, decodes and whatever. You have to be able to decode him. So when he's just looking, you should be able to decode what he's trying to say. So it means this relationship thing brings you to a stage where you read what they are not even saying.
Okay.
So what they are acting, when they are sarcastic, when they are really serious, when they are not, when they are playful. Do you understand?
Yes.
So because like my mom would not really talk and would expect you to know everything she's conveying. So the relationship between you over the years will make you to have learned what it means to watch my mom. If not, she's saying you should put something on her head. If you bring it to her and she's not talking, you bring it to her, give me a cup of water. You're bringing it to her. She's not collecting it from you. And there's a table
In front.
in front of her. She expects you should know that while she's not collecting, maybe she's not ready to take that water immediately, which means you are supposed to know that you should lift that table closer to her and place it on it. So if you're not getting it, she's actually doing like this, indicating, place it on my head.
Okay.
So she's not talking, but she's conveying a message.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, Modupe.
Okay.
Now, I want us to relate communication to man and woman.
Beautiful.
Now, I said you should answer first, not because you're a man, but because I feel that the way men understand communication is different from how women do feel, see communication. So I'd like for the both of you to just tell us what is communication like in relationship for a man and for a woman, because we communicate differently.
Gender-based.
do you know my own attitude to all of this? First of all, I believe that you are human before you are either a man
or a woman.
And that helps me. I don't always want to go by these rules that probably at the end of the day do not actually apply. Because if you say women generally don't want to talk, or women generally talk a lot, you will find yourself in a situation where you'll be surprised. For instance, my wife does not talk. I want to talk. When anything happens to me, I want us to trash it and move on to the next level.
She's probably a good listener.
She doesn't want to talk.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, I don't always want to live by such rules. Because you'll be surprised. And as a filmmaker, I know that, you see, there has to be some balancing. We believe that, for instance, if you want to communicate to somebody, like she said, like my sister said, it is at a point gestural. At a point, it is verbal. At another level, it is symbolic. For instance, when you stand, like she said, when you take something to an elderly person and she doesn't say anything, and you are holding it, you should know that you need to do something else.
Yes.
So every family has a culture of communication, which evolves from time. After having lived together for some time, you evolve a culture. And that is what sets you apart. And that is what makes society, the larger society, tick. Because you are bringing in your own variety. And when we all come together, we now blend. So you understand? So I think, for me, communication, there's no way you can have an interaction with somebody without communication. I think life itself is about communication. In the beginning was the word. There has to be communication. For you to be able to blend, for you to be able to move, for you to be able to do anything, for you to be able to eat. If your wife gives you food and you are just nibbling, you are not eating where she knows that you are communicating something.
Okay.
So it's just the basis. Communication is the fundamental mechanism that makes life goes around, move around, that makes life go around. It's
life itself.
Let's hear from you.
Talking about gender when it comes to communication,
Yes.
I don't think it's totally applicable. Because with study, you realize that some men are sincerely good talkers.
Okay.
Just as he has confirmed.
Yes.
And so I think it goes beyond just putting it to gender basis. We should look at it from the angle of the temperaments. If someone is a choleric, he just wants to command the whole environment that he's in. He's not careful to want to understand what you are feeling when he's conveying what he wants. Do you understand?
Yes.
So with that, we can always look at a choleric person from his gestures. When he becomes very serious-minded, you see it in his charisma, in the way his countenance speaks volume. So you know he's at a serious mode then. Serious. Then you comport yourself, you put yourself to shape. And when you finish that angle, such people too are in control when it comes to the bedroom. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's a choleric. A sanguine person, obviously, is a go-getter.
Yes,
They are everywhere at the same time. I'm talking about the two extremes now.
Yes.
There are in-betweens, but those are the two extremes. So the sanguine person wants to always just be there, laughing, wants to listen a little, speak more. So at that end, the other party is feeling deficient. So if it's someone that does not really appreciate that your aspect of being a sanguine, giving you an example, my husband is more of a phlegmatic. I am a sanguine. So when we go to parties, my husband will not dance. He will not even shake. And he's not particularly ready to start greeting everybody. So what he wants is just to be there, because he needs to be there, obviously, because if not, he won't be there. So what I'm trying to convey here is, with me there, who wants to greet everybody?
Yes.
Everybody wants to greet me.
You too.
And I want to talk and have a chat with everybody in whatever syllables I want to use, even if it is Yoruba language. Since I'm Yoruba, he's Igbo.
Yes.
He's used to it. And he accommodates it to whatever length I take it to. He will just see him sit there. He's not even in a hurry for us to finish that aspect that I have taken up to. So if I intend to dance for 1 hour, I tell you, in fact, it's my husband that will start looking for someone to come and dance with me.
Wow.
So because he has seen that is my strength. And that is where I flow better. So after a good dance, he knows he's going to have a nice time back home. So he's really keen on that aspect being taken care of. So I think it's more of people's temperament.
Temperament.
So when you get to know it on time, It means if you know yourself, you have to know yourself first. You discover who you are.
Who you are.
When you've discovered yourself, then you'll be able to know the kind of person that will fit in into your life. That will be like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Not a round hole fitting a
The missing
triangle.
parts.
You know,
Yeah.
somebody that will come in and make a good blend for you.
Yes.
That will make a good, that you're looking forward to being in such a person's presence. You just want to share something.
Share.
You just have something to always share. So is it that he is always talking? You are always listening.
Listening.
It doesn't matter who does more of the talk.
Wow. Amazing.
Well, I just think that, for instance, when we say communication, what are we talking about? When you want to communicate with somebody, what is the intention?
You want to know
what
the
do
person's
you
mind?
want to do? You have something to achieve by talking to that person. And you, at the same time, you want to make sure that the other person too understands what you're trying to communicate. So if we have a mind predisposed to that, it will be very easy when we communicate. For instance, when you want to talk to your husband, you know his language. If I want to say good morning, you say it in a tone that blends, that agrees with who he is. Else, it will be misinterpreted. You understand?
Very true.
Yeah.
She's blushing.
So I think it's just a case of understanding. And don't forget that, for instance, the man that goes to a party and does not dance and does not want to greet everybody, you need to respect the fact that if he actually did not want to be there, he would not be there, sitting down. And he's making a lot of contribution by being there and not saying anything. You understand? So it is, we all don't have to fill the space. We all don't have to go all out.
Left to me, I won't go on this break. I will let us continue to the end of the show. All right, but we really need to go on a short break. Please just stay glued because we'll be right back. Tea or Coffee continues shortly.
Experience the excitement at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Our state-of-art facility offer amazing outdoor rides, playhouses, indoor games, and dining facilities. Thrill your students with a lifetime memorable excursion trip. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real. Have a thrilling and bonding experience at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Enjoy an amazing retreat in our extremely secured environment with our breathtaking rides. Set goals for the upcoming year in our convenient multi-purpose halls. Bond between team members while giving your staff a desirable treat. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Walking into comfort in a safe environment is every family's dream. At High Impact Planet Resort, our fully furnished service apartment is a home away from home. Amazing views right in your luxurious world. Work out to keep fit for an amazing body at the gym. Get affordable groceries and personal care items at the supermarket. Feel relaxed and beautify yourself at the fully equipped spa. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome back to Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television, of course, the first full HD TV station in Nigeria. On Tea or Coffee this morning, we've been talking about communication and relationship. And before we went on the break, we had a brief discussion.
Yes.
And we're, of course, talking about how that someone would not call you. Okay, I'm not talking about married relationship. Talking about people dating. And you find out that either of them would not call or message, but will come up with excuses.
Yes.
In my opening, I mentioned the fact that someone said something that if he or she is not calling you, he's calling somebody
Someone
else. Do you think that is applicable in communication?
Yeah, especially in love relationships.
Especially in love relationships.
Very, very applicable. A lot of times what we do is we don't study our partners or the person we're in relationship with. What we do is we just convey ourselves as who we are into that relationship without having a consideration or understanding of who we were and who we need to start to become. So, in a relationship, if you just, all you do is mutter into yourself and all the way talking about who you have been, who you should always be, and who you don't plan to change. So it means as a lady, you're always thinking about how to look good.
Good.
I want to be at the salon. I want to do this. All I. So it means what you're expecting, somebody reaching out to you, is like he is going to convey himself from his shell to come and annex you, to come and look for you in your own shell. And he will do that. If he does that for the start of the relationship, before you finally say yes to a relationship, yes, that makes sense. But the moment you say yes, it means you're saying yes to being able to reason from his perspective. So if he's telling you this time of the day is very busy, this other time of the day is very, very busy, then you're asking him, this in-between time can be used for me. And I tell you, a man most times just wants to talk nonsense at such times. They don't want to talk serious matters. Maybe it is at that time you are going to be talking about what happened in tea or coffee. It's not necessary.
Okay.
Well,
So those are not the times you start addressing serious deals.
issues.
They want to just convey their love. In fact, they could just send kisses on your chat. That's what they want to do at such times. You have to flow along.
Sorry to cut you. I'm really keen on this because sometimes you actually want to see it this way. I'm talking from a female perspective now. You want to see this way. You want to say, okay, he's busy. At this particular time is when it's my time. This is our time to talk and everything. And at the end of the day, you see find that he's cheating.
Well,
So it affects the next relationship because you're now so careful. You don't want to make that same mistake of being, you see yourself of, am I being a fool thinking, okay, he's busy.
I beg to differ, my darling.
Okay.
I always tell people, never have it on your mind that your partner is cheating.
Okay.
Never. If you cannot trust your partner, don't start it.
Wow.
If it doesn't deem fit or appropriate for you to be in a relationship with someone you can trust, is the bedrock. So if trust is lacking, then there's no relationship. I don't like when we're deceiving ourselves. So when there's no view of somebody cheating, then you are all out to make it work. My darling, you make it work all over again, all over again, all over again. So it doesn't have to be perfect in the first instance. You have to be able to say, what did I do wrong? What didn't I do enough in the last relationship? And I'm not talking about how the time then was spent doing this
Okay.
and wasting so much time on bed and not on the sitting to talk.
Yes.
So if whatever mistake you are going to address doesn't have to mean you are addressing sensual part of that relationship.
Okay, ma'am. He's been itching to say
yeah,
something.
I just want to say that it is only natural if there is a relationship. There are feelings, mutual feelings. There is no way that you will not long to be in each other's company. There is no way. If it is natural and it happens between the two people, So, like my sister said, you don't go with a background or foregrounding of he's cheating. He's cheating. If he's not talking to me, he's cheating. If you are working at it, for instance, when two people come together, it's like having a common basket. You drop a little bit about yourself into that basket, he drops a little bit, and then you have a common ground. But if you don't do that, maybe you are the one who is going to make him cheat. If he's not getting what he's going to get from you. If it is natural that the two of you are in love, you will want to see, you will want to talk to you. However busy he is, he will look for a way to talk to you. I think it's just a matter of you also being sure of what you are going into. If he doesn't call you, he doesn't belong to you.
Okay, now, if he doesn't call you...
Yeah, and if you don't call him...
No, but when you are the one doing most of the calling...
If you command being called, you'll be called.
When you are the one doing most of the calling, and even the meetings where you have to see each other, you are the one always going the extra mile.
And he says he's in love with you. And you know, you have every reason. It's contradicting. You have every reason to believe that this man is in love with you. He will call, there's no way.
I want to come in there.
Okay.
Some people they are late starters. There are late starters in education.
True.
So I don't grade people by who they were in the primary school or who they became in the secondary school. I would rather grade people with who they are now as an adult. Because you might be trying to fix something that is far apart. A lot of events, a lot of experiences have come up. So they have really changed. They have gotten better or worse. So it's not, there's no prototype in that. So what I'm trying to explain with that is, don't assume. Always convey your thoughts.
Okay.
Convey your feelings. Convey your assumptions. Convey your presumptions. Convey. I'm talking about communication.
Yes.
Communicate it. Talk about it. I was even thinking, because you didn't call me, I thought you don't like me again. You will not love you. Why would I like you? Allow such to flow. You have let him know how you felt, even though you are playful about it. But out of that abundance of your heart, you have spoken. He heard you. He might not act immediately. There are no robots anywhere.
True.
It takes time. So most times, it is our microwave ideas that is coming into relationships too. You always want the next person to change. You are not changing anything, no. So, but the next person has to change. He's not doing this. He's not doing this well. He's not saying it well. He's not. Which one have you changed? Let him be able to say, can you remember that last year when this? Now you are different too. You have even understood me so well. Everybody wants such a person that considers you. At least puts you first in some areas before thinking of even her family or some other people. So these are the things that will make the guy, even if you were two people he was trying to consider initially, there was nothing bad in that. I don't call that cheating. That's the word. You could have two people, and after a while, you have decided this is the person I want. And that is...
And you see, what some of our ladies need to know is that life is not instant noodle. Seriously, we have to work hard at it. We have to groom it. We have to understand one another. You have to know where I'm coming from. And I also need to know where you are coming from. And the moment we drop all the bags and baggages that we are bringing from the past into something that is brand new, we are supposed to create something that is entirely different from the past so that we can move forward.
Okay. So let's look at it from this angle. You're a filmmaker.
Yes.
And movies portray things that happen in the society.
Yes.
So can we say that is it right to judge our relationships based on what we see on movies? What we
Well,
see in
sometimes, you see, people get the movies they deserve. Because there's a symbiotic relationship between movies and the society. The society nurtures the movies.
movies? Okay.
And the movie reinterpret and contradict the society so that the society can outlive its present self. And any movie that does not, there's no way a movie will not do that. But sometimes, you can't prescribe a story for a movie maker because it's part of the society. And there's nobody anywhere in the world who has ever been able to create anything artistic that is not interpreted from the society. Shakespeare never wrote anything outside the society. Wole Soyinka has never written anything outside the African experience. So, when you see, you only take that which belongs to you. A movie is coming from so many things, but you only take that which belongs. And if it resonates with you, there's no way you won't pick one or two things from it.
Okay, but you know, there's sometimes that some things are good that you pick from movies. And let me even include social media now. Some things that you pick, but then when it is now likened to your partner, it doesn't go well with your partner. The personality of your partner is different, but you want that. Okay, for instance, now you want breakfast in bed because you see it in movies. And
Is
you
it
see
part
it
of your
social media.
culture?
You see celebrities posting it, breakfast in bed and the likes. And then your lover, fiance, husband is not that type of person. But you've picked it from a movie or social media.
But you see, that movie, you are likely to have picked the wrong thing, because if a movie is made for Nigeria and everything that one portrays is breakfast in bed and so many things that are not realistic, and those are the things that you want to pick, maybe that movie is showing you so that you know that we don't have to go the way that is not our way. But the only thing you have picked is the fact that somebody is being served breakfast in bed.
That thrilled me because I remember vividly years ago we were talking about breakfast in bed, and the next thing the friend of mine said was, "You will eat ewa going." You know, and it sounded very funny, but I went back and sat, looking at it. A lot of times we don't convey, we don't communicate your thoughts in the sense of culture. You have to be sure that this partner has the same value representation with you. If your thoughts are on the British side, if you had studied abroad and you have some perspectives that are based there, you can't come back home and think you just want to pick on a man that has never been to the airport and you want him to understand all these things that you have imbibed, and he has to flow by them. It is something you have to make him see reason with. And it means it's going to take time. So in this case, it means what you are going to look at in the person you want to have a relationship with. Is this somebody that can blend in? Is this somebody that is learned, ready to learn? So if he's not going to be ready to learn, you will know from the scratch. Because each time you are saying one or two things, you say, you see him is adjusting his seat. Oh, well, okay, let's see how it goes. Such a person, to an extent, he's already, revolting. He's repelling your thoughts, your perspectives, your values, your culture. And most times, all we just try to do is patch it. What are you patching? How long are you going to patch it? So you need to, from scratch, know what you want to carry as your value, as your culture. If you are a Yoruba person, if you don't want to carry Yoruba culture, it is not at the stage of engagement that you will now want to carry it. It's too late by then. So if you want to be Yoruba from scratch. If you want to be somebody else, you'll be somebody else from scratch. So if you want to start conveying that aspect that suits you concerning the British or concerning the American, so a lot of times now we're even mixing it up. We don't even know which one is British. We don't even know which one is American. So at the long run, even the guy, maybe he actually went to read a book because of you on something British, the way they do their etiquette, the way they carry themselves, then he has had something there. Then coming to you, you are not even fitting in. You have just fitted in by saying you wanted breakfast on bed. Are you not funny?
Very funny. Okay, so very quickly, I would like to ask very quickly. Now, what is it that sustains friendship in marriage? Is it just communication? The both of you have been married for years and you are doing well. So what is it that sustained you in marriage?
Well,
Very
for me,
quickly.
I think it's mutual respect.
Respect.
Yes.
Goes beyond communication, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I think mutual respect is good. But this communication thing that we talked about
Yes.
today is the heart of relationship.
So it is the most important thing.
It's the core. Because you even in the bedroom, you convey how you feel. You communicate it.
Okay.
So if you are not getting it the way you want it, you have to talk about it.
Okay.
But don't forget that if you have mutual respect for one another, your communication is going to be greatly influenced by the respect that you have for one another.
From our MCR, they're giving you
They're
high
giving you
five.
high five. Oh, yeah. Give them
High
back.
five.
Let me give them 10.
Okay, now when we talk about communication, now that we've put it that it is the core, it's very important in when it comes to relationship. There's some people that love long distance relationship, and then in terms of communication, they see it as over the phone, a little of face to face, and then texting. So when you talk about communication, which one is more effective? Is it face to face communication? Is it over the phone conversation or texting?
I think it has so much to do with the individuals involved.
Okay.
How matured they have become. If you are really matured, you find out that Skyping can still convey, if you have a long distance relationship. You have Skyping, you have chatting, you have all those things. But let me not lie to you. By the time you have this coming together to be there for each other physically, you have to prepare your mind that you're still going to learn the physical attributes and aspects, attitude of the person. Because you can obviously have discussed it. He will probably tell you, I like my space being very neat. Because back then I remembered vividly, when I go to a man's house, I want to always go first. I want to quickly go. Because I want to see how he has placed his sitting room. I'm not going to his room, but his sitting room speaks volume. And I like doing it when he's not expecting me.
Okay. Just bump it.
Surprise.
And intentionally, I'm doing some excessive things. Probably removing my shoe and just putting it anywhere. Or just doing some things funnily, or wanting to sit on the chair, and I'm already putting my legs there. I want him to correct me. I want him to to either just probably bring my legs down. Casually, and I want to see how he's going to do it. Because those are the ways you know when a guy is violent.
True.
The way he conveys what he likes in his space, you will know when a guy is particular about his space. And those kind of people, they would rather have you not. They will not have you in their space than for you to be there and disturb their space.
All right. Thank you so much. I wish I could continue this conversation, but then we have to wrap up the show. But let me start by saying thank you so much for coming. And on behalf of High Impact TV, yes.
Allow me to pass it on to her.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. And here is our big talking, very big. Very big talking. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge of wealth. I have seen a different perspective, when it comes to communication in relationship now. At least I know that I should not always think that the guy is cheating when he doesn't call.
Right.
That I didn't know before. Thank you so much. And I know you've learned one or two
Oh,
things
yes.
also.
I've learned that communication also has to do with respect, mutual respect.
yes.
But communication is key.
Key,
Communicate your feelings. However you choose to communicate it is fine. But just communicate. Okay, so I'd like to thank you so very much
Thank
for
you so much.
staying tuned to all we had to offer you on tea or coffee this morning, and I hope you learned a whole lot on the program, communication. Whatever you do, just communicate. Till tomorrow, do take care of yourself and each other. My name is God's Time David.
And my name is Mudukwe Jacob. So let's take our cups. Bye.
Bye.